Story 1, The Whispering Woods. There was a village named Ravenshade, hidden deep in the valley, surrounded by a thick, ancient forest. The villagers feared the forest, especially at night. They believed the trees held trapped souls, whispering secrets to lure people inside. The elders often told tales of those who had entered the woods after dark. None had ever returned. Sam, a 15-year-old boy with a rebellious heart, didn't believe in such stories. "It's just wind in the trees," he would say. Nothing more. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of purple, Sam's friends dared him. "Go into the woods," one of them challenged. "Spend just 1 hour inside, and we'll believe you're the bravest among us." Sam smirked, grabbed a lantern, and walked toward the forest. "I'll be back in an hour," he said confidently. As he stepped past the first line of trees, a chill crept up his spine. The air was still, too still. The leaves did not rustle. The crickets did not chirp. Only silence surrounded him. He took a deep breath and moved forward. With each step, the trees grew taller, their twisted branches reaching toward the sky like skeletal fingers. The deeper he went, the more he felt as if unseen eyes were watching him. Then he heard it. A whisper. Soft, barely audible, like a breath against his ear. "Sam." He froze. His lantern flickered. His hands trembled. "Who's there?" he called, his voice more uncertain than he'd hoped. The whisper came again, this time from the opposite direction. "Sam, come closer." A shiver ran down his spine. He turned the lantern in all directions, but nothing was there. His heartbeat quickened. He was sure his friends were playing a trick on him. "All right, guys, very funny," he said. "Come out now." Silence. The whisper returned, now behind him. "Run." Sam spun around, but the forest remained empty. The path he had taken was gone. The trees had shifted. The darkness seemed heavier, as if it was pressing against him. His breath quickened. The lantern dimmed again. He banged on it, trying to make it brighter, but the flame sputtered. Then he heard footsteps, soft, slow, deliberate. They were coming closer. He ran. Branches tore at his clothes, roots tripped his feet, but he didn't stop. The whispers grew louder, overlapping voices calling his name in eerie harmony. "Sam, Sam, Sam." He could see a faint glow ahead. A clearing. He pushed forward, lungs burning, heart pounding. He burst into the clearing, gasping for air. But he wasn't alone. In the dim lantern light, he saw them, shadows. Tall, thin figures standing in a perfect circle around him. Their faces were blank, but their mouths moved in silent whispers. Sam tried to scream, but his voice wouldn't come. The lantern finally died, plunging him into darkness. And then, silence. The next morning, the villagers found the lantern near the forest's edge. The glass was cracked, the handle still warm. But Sam was never seen again. And on quiet nights, when the wind died down, the villagers swore they could hear whispers drifting from the trees, calling a name. Sam. Story 2, The House That Remembers. In a small, forgotten town, at the end of a winding dirt road, stood an old house. No one lived there anymore, but everyone knew its history. Decades ago, a family of 5 had vanished inside, leaving nothing but whispers of their fate. The house remained untouched, its windows dark, its walls cracked, as if waiting for someone to return. No one dared step inside, except for Daniel. Daniel was 17, tall and fearless. He had grown up hearing the stories, but never believed them. "A house can't be haunted," he scoffed whenever the topic came up. "It's just wood and stone." One evening, as a storm rolled in, Daniel's friends dared him to spend the night inside the house. "Just till sunrise," they teased. "If you last till morning, you'll be a legend." Daniel smirked. "Easy." With only a flashlight and a backpack, he made his way to the house. The air grew colder as he approached, the wind howling through broken windows. He hesitated for just a moment before pushing open the heavy wooden door. It creaked loudly, echoing through the empty rooms. Inside, dust blanketed everything. A grand staircase loomed ahead, its steps warped with age. Faded paintings hung on the walls, their eyes seeming to follow him as he moved. The air smelled of mildew and something else, something rotten. Ignoring the uneasy feeling creeping up his spine, Daniel sat up in the large living room. He rolled out a sleeping bag near the fireplace and turned on his flashlight. The beam flickered for a second before steadying. Then he heard it, a soft thump from upstairs. His pulse quickened, probably just the wind. He ignored it and kept unpacking. Thump. This time, it was louder. Daniel swallowed hard. His flashlight beam trembled slightly as he pointed it toward the staircase. "Hello?" he called, half expecting a raccoon to scurry out. Silence. Then, a whisper. Not just one, but many. Daniel's skin prickled. He could hear faint voices, overlapping, distant, as if trapped within the walls. He turned, ready to leave, but then the door slammed shut behind him. His breath caught in his throat. He rushed to the door, gripping the handle. It wouldn't budge. He twisted it harder, panic rising in his chest. Then a voice right behind him. "Daniel." He spun around, the flashlight shaking in his grip. No one was there. The whispers grew louder, swirling around him, pressing against his ears. He backed away, bumping into an old wooden chair. The fireplace, which had been cold and empty, suddenly roared to life with blue flames. Shadows flickered along the walls. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming down the staircase. Daniel's flashlight flickered as he pointed it toward the steps. And there, at the top of the stairs, stood a man. His face was hollow, his skin pale and stretched too thin. His eyes were black pits, his mouth, too wide, twisted into a grotesque grin. Daniel's stomach turned. He stepped back, his heartbeat hammering against his ribs. The man tilted his head in an unnatural way, as if studying him. Then the thing spoke. "You came back." Daniel shook his head. "No, I don't. You left us." More whispers joined, rising into a deafening chorus. "You forgot us." Daniel stumbled backward, hands shaking. His foot caught on the edge of the rug, and he crashed to the ground. The whispers stopped all at once. Silence. Then a single final whisper. "Now you stay." The lights went out. The next morning, when his friends came looking for him, they found his backpack near the fireplace. His flashlight lay beside it, its battery drained. But Daniel was gone. The only thing left was a whisper in the air, repeating a single name. Daniel. And from the upstairs window, a shadow watched them leave.